Welcome. You are in the right place if you're looking at me and it says the Diamond Perspective Show. Yes, the queens are in the house. As I always say, I have to say second Thursday this time because it is second week Thursday. And we usually come on first Thursdays of the month. But life happens, things change. And guess what? This is really, I just thought about this. Talking about lives and things changes. Well, guess what we're talking about today? Are you adapting to change and innovation? See, so maybe this was done on purpose. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, this was done on purpose. I like this. It's just flowing here. So hey, when you have to adapt and you have to change, you have to move a different way in another direction. This is what we're going to be talking about. And not just, just moving different directions, but changes in your business, changes in the universe, changes like the eclipse, changes like, just inventing something totally different that you were like, I didn't know I was that creative, but it might just work. And making sure that you have people around you. And I'm going to put it right here. And this is what I bring the queens in. People around you that is there for you, that is cheering you on, that is celebrating you, that is giving you the victories when you need them, even the small victories when you get to those changes. Hint, hint. And that's why I love these queens, because we all come together, even if it's once out the month, and we talk and we have conversations about just things that we need to express so we can help each other out. I mean, I always learn from each queen here. So with that said, I'm not going to take up too much time talking just me, a talking head here. I want to make sure that you get to know these queens, know what they do. We're going to have a conversation, but I always ask, because there's a two-part to this for me, because I believe in visibility. I love visibility for others and for myself, of course. But when you listen to these queens, when you listen to what they do, and when they give at the end how to contact them, get a piece of paper and pen and write it down. And you have no excuse if you can't contact them, because you can contact me and I know everybody's contact. Yeah, I'm the Rolodex. Did I say Rolodex? Oh my God, I'm aging myself. With that said, let's bring the queens. Ta-da! Look at that. Wow. Look at the beautiful queens. I can't believe I said Rolodex. I'm just thinking about that now. Some people probably like trying to, go on Google and say, what is Rolodex? What is she talking about and what does it look like? Yeah. So queens, thank you so much for coming on as always. And thank you for coming on a second week, because I know we had to move some things around. But you know what? I just love you all to do that, because not just for me, but for everybody out there that's listening. If you're listening to replay, this is things that I tell people, that we want to make sure you take things that we say and hopefully it helps somewhere. And then you share it out. So by sharing it out right now, I mean by sharing the link. So if you have the YouTube link for this show, if you have the Facebook link, if somebody sent it to you, please share it out so you can start listening to these wonderful queens. Now, before we even start, we need to understand who they are, what their names are, and what empire do they run. So with that said, we will start. And I'm going to go with, because we have some newbies on here. She's not new to me, but she's new to the platform. So I'll let her start first, and that is Queen Felicia. So if you could just introduce yourself real quickly, Felicia, and let us know who you are. Uh-oh, she's on mute. That wonderful button we just love.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Hi, other queens and audience. I am Felicia Senegar Stanley, and I am the CEO of Empowering Writings. where we actually work with people to help them get their stories out on paper and into book form and published. In addition to Empowering Writings, I am the founder of Empowering Writings, nonprofit organization that support women who need a hand up and not a hand out. Yes, those are the two main businesses that I have. And lastly, I am a consultant. I do consult with people on business and diversity, equity, inclusion, and also the publishing industry. So that's a little bit about me. I won't take up too much time, but I'll go ahead and share my contact information
Oh,
now
no. Wait,
or
wait, wait.
later.
Let's pin that. Yeah, that's going
Later.
to be at the
Okay.
end. Yeah, we just want to make sure we get to know everybody. So thank you, Queen. So that's okay. Okay, next Queen.
Hey there, I'm Karen Stultz, and I'm a reformed people pleaser and self doubter extraordinaire. And I'm now a podcast host and coach to wonderful, amazing midlife entrepreneurial women who I'm basically a pragmatic catalyst for positive change so that they can grow and enjoy. And I love the fact that we're going to be talking about adapting to change because that's what it's all about. We're all changing every day. I mean, the only constant in life is change. So let's adapt to it.
Yes. Thank you, Queen. And our next wonderful Queen here. Oh,
That's me. I am Gloria Grace Rand, and I am the founder of the Align to Shine Academy, where I help female spiritual entrepreneurs release negative doubts like negative thoughts, I should say, like self doubt. I'm getting ahead of myself. And really be able to then align their business with their soul's purpose so that they can shine their light in the world and help a lot of people with their businesses that they're meant to do. And I love you, Barbara. You're so cute today. I just want to tell you, I love the Rolodex, and I love the fact that we planned this to be a week later because we're talking about adapting to change. So I love it.
yeah. We roll with it, don't we, Queen? Thank you, Queen. So our next Queen. Oh, Queen B.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here. My name is Lachelle, also known as America's Supermom. I'm the mother of 15 children, and I'm a TV producer. I help you to monetize your message and create a global impact through my channel, Keep It Real TV, on the Zandra TV network. So I'm excited to be here and glad for the topic.
Awesome. We have some power hitters today, as always. And our next wonderful Queen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ronnie Cyrus Jackson. I am founder and CEO of Authentic Transformations. And I do two things. I am a coach, and so I advocate for good and healthy mental well being. While it is okay to not be okay, I also too believe that it is okay to be okay. And so I walk alongside people as I coach, I walk alongside people who are on their healing journeys. And we just work through trauma wounds. And so that's one thing I do. And then my favorite and most new thing that I get to do is I curate spaces and I call them sanctuaries for your soul. And those spaces really are made and specifically for women who are experiencing burnout, stress, fatigue, and they just need some time away for themselves to silence themselves and just to really be reintroduced to their soul. And so that is the other thing I get to do. So I'm so happy to be here and get to contribute to this very important topic. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Queen. Always a pleasure to have you on the stage. And we got a lot of good queens here. Jacqueline.
Hi. My name is Jacqueline. I have one name. I'm the president and founder of the Cosmic Light Academy in Reno, Nevada, and worldwide. I help people transform their lives very, very quickly from the inside out. And one of the things that I'm getting known for, believe it or not, is teaching people how to bend metal with their mind. It's an instantaneous paradigm shift. And people leave going, oh my God, if I could do this, I could do anything. And then we start the journey of self-empowerment and getting rid of challenges, problems, doubts, and fears. And then people start really accelerating their mastery and mastering a happier, healthier life.
Awesome, Queen. And our last queen here, not last, but to end to pull it up there, Mrs. Barbara Ellison. Oh, you're on mute.
There I am. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm a founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. And you know what? I'm now really passionate about working with, the late career business professionals to get them ready for retirement. The non-financial part of retirement, of knowing their personal identity. Who are they outside of their job title and their job description? But also to make sure that they have just the total physical wellness to be active and healthy and move and just face retirement with joy, that kind of thing, but also to have the financial stability. So that's me, and welcome to Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. I'm also a podcast host and an author, and so that's always fun too. Barbara and I have let's give it a plug. Can I give it a plug? Our Time to Shine Happiness show.
Well, even if I was going to say no, it wasn't going to work. She just see, that's what I'm talking about.
We're the babies. We're the
Back
babies.
to change.
That's the powerhouses in us. But thank you. See, that's my goal. But with that said, you see, we have a lot of wonderful queens on tonight. Mm-hmm. So with that, we're really gonna tighten up a little bit because we want to make sure that we're giving impact, but we have to keep it at a certain amount. So with that said, I'm going to first start off with a wonderful, well, I feel like it's a wonderful quote because I love my quotes. If you know me, and it has to do real short and to the point, and it's by Albert Einstein, and he says, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. And, that kind of wraps up in a nutshell. Okay, we're done. No, I'm just kidding. So with that said, you have to always think outside the box and doing different things. And if you think about it, each and every queen tonight, as they were talking about what they do, how impact they create in the world, it has to do with helping another person to change in their lives. Think about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, each and every one of us that talked about what you do, you are trying to move that needle in somebody's life to create a change that's going to help them grow in some kind of capacity, either in their business or their personal life. So with that, I want to throw out this question, and any of you queens can answer. Being that role of resilience played in navigating change, because sometimes change doesn't feel good. Some people say that. How can people cultivate that? So when you're talking to a person and there's change there, how do you navigate through that and help others? So anybody wants to take first?
Well, I get a lot of experience with change having a number of children. I just went to an event for our fourth grader right before this presentation. And, I just think it's not being married to the outcomes, always being open to explore different things and looking for different things that you could see in each situation. This is our last child who's in the fourth grade. And although this is like, number 15, we have to be open to see things from their eyes. And so I think communication is important. And when you are open, you begin to see different things about how you can possibly perform a different role in these different experiences that might be the same for you, but they're with different people in different time frames. And so I think that really is the key is, not being married to the outcomes,
Right.
but looking at what you can learn from it and keeping those lines of communication open.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Because if you study on the out, you keep thinking what's going to happen at the end of this, then your focus is off, and you can miss out on a lot of learning experiences, like you said. Wonderful, Queen. Anybody else want to add to that? Barbara?
Yeah. One of the things for me is that so often we get stuck in our past. And that's where all our knowledge is. And we need it. We need every bit of the knowledge that we have had through all of our lives, because everything, just like Lachelle just said, they're all learning experiences. They're all experiences that we've had to deal with one way or another. The thing is though, when we get stuck in that, the past things that we've done, once in a while, I have found that some people, they don't take the learning, be a continuous learning. Be a continuous learner. And it can be learning a new language. It can be learning a new software. It can be learning to do a podcast. Whatever that learning is, that will help you to change what your circumstance is right now in the present. Because if we can move past our past and go into the future and change more easily if we're learning something new.
Okay.
Barbara, I would love to add.
Oh, I didn't know who.
I don't know who
I
that
would love to add.
There we go.
The thing I think about when you ask the question, Barbara, you use the word resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I believe is that when we really lean into resiliency and we understand what it is to be resilient, we will quickly realize that resilience and strength are very different in nature. And when we are coming from a place of resiliency, we're coming from a place of power. And when we are moving and we are acting and we're making decisions from a place of power, there's more motivation behind that. There's more follow through and excitement generally behind moving from a place of power. Whereas sometimes life throws us curveballs and we move from a place of strength being defined as ability. And sometimes it's not always just because we can doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be we're happily or joyfully doing the thing. And so I love your question and I love your word choice. Resiliency is always the place that we want to, make decisions from, especially when we're talking about navigating change and adapting to the newness that life brings us. And so moving and being very conscientious about how do we grow in our power towards a thing. And that's through knowledge and also vulnerability.
I love that. Oh, I love that you brought that up too, Queen, about vulnerability, because you have to be. You have to be. I think I want to get Karen. I know you wanted to say.
Yeah, I have to say I agree with everything that has been said so far. And the fact is that change is inevitable.
Right.
That's the only constant in life. So if we're able to look at it as a curiosity, a little bit like Barbara Ellison was saying, just kind of look at it as a curiosity and keep learning about it. Mm-hmm. And you might not find the answers right away, but if you're curious, it kind of opens up possibilities. And the whole point of change is letting go of the expectations, as was mentioned earlier. And just, I keep something on my refrigerator, as a matter of fact. Since I let go of expectations, I feel a lot better. And it really does. Whenever I find myself saying, okay, I'm going to give this dinner party, or I'm going to give this presentation, or I'm going to sell this product, and it doesn't pan out, I didn't feel very good. So what can I do? How do I do it better? Well, I learn what are the other possibilities? How could I do it better? And number one, let's have some fun doing it. And if you're going to be disappointed because the expectations do not match up, That is not a way to live. So find a way to make it enjoyable, make it fun, learn from your history, because that's like Barbara Ellison said, that's all we have is our history. We don't know what our future is. So let's look at it with curiosity and see what the other possibilities are and
Awesome.
carry on from there.
I like that. I like that a lot. Anybody else?
I would like to just chime in just a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I would like to come in from an angle of personal and professional development, because if you are a lifelong learner and you always seeking opportunities to expand your skills and your knowledge, that's change, because you're moving from one level of knowledge to another. Staying up to date on different industry trends and things, that takes you from a whole different level depending on what industry that you're in. You have to always be continuous learning, because things change, not monthly but daily. You wake up every day and there's a different change. You turn on the television, something else is new. I mean, we didn't know about AI until AI was right there. And now we're shifting our focus from doing things one way to doing it another way with the help of AI. I know a lot of times people do not like to embrace change, but change is good. I think we should never get so comfortable with one thing that we're not willing to explore the opportunity to change and do something differently, to do something better. And I always tell people about having a business strategy. Yes, markets change. So, of course, your strategy cannot stay the same when market information changes. Think about your customers. Your customers' needs change. They're not the same when you first meet your customer until your customer may be with you, say, 3, 4, 5 years. Their needs are going to change each and every time. And if you don't change with your customers' needs, then where does that leave you? So I kind of look at change in a lot of different areas, and especially in the area of personal growth, because you have to change personally yourself to be a better you. We can't stay stuck in the person we used to be 6 months ago or a year ago. We have to look at the person that we are today and how our growth made us who we are from one time to another. Thank you for listening.
Yes. So I love that. I want to add too, because there was a lot with the AI and going a little bit into innovation, because we're talking about change and adapting to innovation as well. And they two go hand in hand sometime. What I want to know, because keeping it real, somebody did just say a little while ago, sometimes change doesn't feel good. Sometimes people just want to be stuck in that same old thing all the time. Some people might want to not go back to work, and they're pushing you to go back to work. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm getting a little bit personal. But anyway, see, that's what I'm saying. Change. You have to be open, even if you might not like it, right? So I want to hear some queens talk about, maybe some changes. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna be devil's advocate. I hate to use devil here, but devil's advocate. How about there's some things might not need to change? Is anybody in that atmosphere? I see Jacqueline's hand.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to bring up there's a new thing in the food department, and it's stem cell chicken and meat, and it's meat that's being grown and distributed today in the market, that it's grown in a big metal vat from stem cells from chicken, from different kinds of meat, and they grow it. They in a matter of weeks, they shape it. It even has the covering, so it looks like real muscle. and they're selling it and we're eating it. And I have a little bit of problem with that. I did a little bit of research with it. And even though they're saying they're doing millions of pounds on a regular basis and it's saving all these things, I started to see that the this is not the proper term, the off gassing, but the process that it takes to make the stem cells is kind of nasty in terms of the environmental impact, even though they're claiming, oh, look, we're saving millions of chickens and cows and pigs and things from being slaughtered and raised. So for me, the jury is still out. I like traditional food. But I also thought maybe this is the beginning of moving toward food replicators like they had on the Star Trek movies, where, this might be the way of serving people some form of nutrition when they get into space travel. So I'm still out there, but it is a dramatic kind of change of what are we eating, because statistics have it from my perspective that a lot of the health, especially in the United States, is so much worse that from the last 40, 50 years. And they're claiming it because it's a matter of more natural food, less chemicals in the fertilizer and the processing. And the statistics are out there that out of every 3 kids have like beginning onset of diabetes, where it was 1 in thousands before in the 50s and 60s. So change, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. So we're adapting.
Depending on what it is, yeah. Anybody else want to add to that about some things might not be too good to change? So we're all open.
Well, keeping community. We're going into the technology so much. We have our cell phones are attached to us, and kids are growing up with new operating systems. The moment they're born, they can almost operate cell phones and computers the second they're born anymore. They're just born with a new operating system. And I was talking about that on another show today, wondering about, is this really good? Because it's kind of separating us from people. And we all need each other. We need community to stay together. In the past, we had community. It wasn't until the 1970s that things really, well, maybe the 60s, things really started to amplify and started moving faster and faster. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's not so good. We look at microwaves. I loved my microwave. I was so excited when I got my first microwave. I cooked it all the time. And now we find that it might be killing us. So, yeah, take things carefully, do your research, and take ownership and responsibility for the changes that, unfortunately, we have to accept sometimes.
I love that. And I would just say also, a lot of things are introduced to us by convenience and saving time, like the microwave or, fast food. A lot of these things that, they were designed to be tools to help us get to certain places quicker or alleviate some of the stress or overwhelm, but we have been depending on them like they are, an everyday fixture. And it's like anything, that is designed to be a tool, right? We can have crutches if our legs are injured, but you're not supposed to walk all the time on crutches or have a spare tire on your car. So these things were designed to be somewhat temporary, and we have just gravitated to using them so much that we don't even recognize that they're really becoming a master of us rather than us mastering them.
That's powerful. Now that you are so right. I mean, Barbara, I know I see your hand. I'll get to you. I was going to say, when you know that technology is taking over you, then there's some questions there. I mean, to the point where it's making you it's thinking for you all the way. And I know, I mean, I love AI. Everybody has different things about AI and TV chat and all that. I understand there's a whole thing about that, but you have to use it in the boundaries for yourself. And that's what I always say. I always tell people, use the tools and the boundaries for you, but still be you. You still have to have your uniqueness there. You still have to have you and not somebody talking for you. And when you have technology taking over who you really are, then you have to kind of look at that. And I don't care whatever change or innovation, you still have the human touch, human connection still needs to be there no matter what they say about the robots. So I know Barbara wanted to say something.
With me right now, and it's been going on, but we've had several conversations between several of us, is that our children are the leaders of tomorrow.
Mm.
We seem to be forgetting that a little bit. And today, what part of the conversation was about is that we have several years of the next generation that don't know how to write. Because they took cursive out of schools. They don't know how to write their names. And so now we've got kids coming up that the teachers, they will not accept school assignments that are handwritten. They have to be done on a computer or a word processor. So that just even adds even more to the issue that these kids aren't learning to write. What's going to be the long term of that? Is that they're not learning how to express themselves with the written word.
Mm.
And that is so important. Like, one of the exercises that I do with my clients is, if they are having a really tough day, and they are just at their wits' end, all right, get out a piece of paper and a pencil, not your word processor, not your phone, not your computer, not your audible, your pen and paper, and write down everything that you are feeling, because you need to get it out of your body. Well, these kids, they're not learning how to write. How can we do a simple exercise like that? And it's like, what's going to be the long term? I keep thinking that, oh, brother, what's going to happen with all these kids that they don't know how to write?
Oh,
that is so. I wanted to add one thing with that, because our school system, they went through a situation for the first semester where their computers, the whole system was compromised. And so they didn't have internet capabilities. And the kids they didn't know what to do. It's like, okay, can we just get a book? Can we write? Can we do something else? But it's like, oh my gosh, the computers aren't working. Nobody was able to be proactive about something else, because everybody was so dependent on how are we going to do our lesson plans, how are we going to put in grades. It was ridiculous. So I totally agree with you on that. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also want to suggest too that as parents in particular, we can help our kids maybe pick up on some of these things that they're not getting in school, and be able to either show them by example, or be able to teach them some of these skills that they're not getting anymore. Because I love technology, and there's a lot of good with it. The fact that we can all be on this call right now is pretty remarkable. It's wonderful that we can have conversations with people across the world. And at the same time, we do need to also be mindful about it, and being able to, as I think maybe Barbara was saying, about recognizing that we do have to Sorry, I'm not feeling well today, so I'm having trouble getting my thoughts together. But the point is that I'm thinking of my kids are, I don't know, Gen Z, whatever. They're born in the 90s. But when they were growing up, I mean, kids were already having this pressure to have like cell phones and things like that, and I resisted. I didn't let them have, a phone until closer to high school. I wasn't giving it to them early on because I didn't have one and I survived. And I think these kids, have just gotten to, we're allowing them in a way to decide, no, I need this. But, remember, if you're a parent and you all have parents who probably said no a lot, we can still say no and say, I'm sorry, you're not going to have that. And you will survive. And we don't have to, share the story about walking 5 miles in the snow, like, you probably heard too.
Uphill both ways. Uphill both ways.
Yeah, but we can instill responsibility. We can help them and do the limitation. And yet at the same time, I also found it interesting. I saw somebody posting on Facebook the other day about that the invention of the TV tray sort of led to the demise of family dinner hour, because now suddenly we're eating dinner in front of the television and not having that communication with the family that we probably had as a kids growing up with. And I know I was guilty of this too, even as a parent. I didn't do as very good. I tried to for a while, kind of pulling them back together at the kitchen table, but it's tough. But that's another. So it's like technology is good, and then there's it's a double-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah, it really is.
It is a double-edged sword, no question about it. Yeah. And the only thing that gets me through sometimes is remembering. Yeah, even my daughter will come to me and say, you know what? I'm just scared for the next generation. I'm scared for the next generation. But we have a choice. Do we want to go around afraid of what might be? And in my opinion, probably will be. But I don't know that, because it's the future and we don't know what the future will bring. So the only thing that really helps me handle some of this is thinking about Aristotle, or one of Plato or Aristotle, one of the two, said, I'm terrified for the next generation.
Yeah.
This has been going on and on and on. We're still okay. We're still okay. And they will find a way to be okay too. I hope.
You added the hope there. We all need to keep hope alive right now. But one thing we can do, and before I want to get to our sponsor, and then we'll be back, is just want to let everybody know this is where we all come in at when it comes to change, innovation, or anything in life, is that we just have to step up as leaders. We're all leaders here. We're all queens. And this is where people that we can teach, show, be a part of, network, whatever you want to call, with the younger generation, with the older generation, all together. And this is how we get through it, because all we can do is take one day at a time. That's all we can do. So with that, we'll be right back.
And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us, because we're the one little bit of hope that they have, to have a warm meal in their bellies, and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big, and it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today. My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
And we are back. And I just want to thank our sponsor, love Serena, what she's doing for Help Heal Humanity, and especially in Haiti. If everybody knows, Haiti is really going through. If you look at the news, if you look what's going on, unfortunately, they don't even have a government that's really running the country anymore. I mean, it's basically the gangs, and there's so many children that are suffering just to get to see what running water looks like. They don't even know what it looks like anymore. They don't even see the food. So I just thank all of the hearts out there for helping, and anybody else that has a nonprofit. I mean, everybody, to me, that's your heart. When you have a nonprofit, that means you're stepping out. You're talking about change, innovation. You are stepping completely out of the box, because you're just saying, you know what, I'm putting myself to the side even, and really helping others. So, you know, we really honor that. So with that, if you're just coming in, we're kind of going to do a little bit wrapping up here of the Diamond Factor Perspective show that comes on every first Thursday of the month. But this particular month, we did a change and we innovated, and we're doing the second. I know Gloria always laughs at everything. So what I want to do, because we dip dab in a lot of different things regarding adapting. How do we feel about it? Do we like change? Do we like change? We accept change. We got to teach all that kind of stuff in innovation. So I want each lady, before we sign off, is to give just maybe 1 minute of give a tip to the audience out there and people that's listening to the replay of what they can do when it comes to adapting to a change. Now, if you want to pick in your business, you can pick that. If you want to pick in personal, either or. But just give a quick tip, because that's why we want to give something that they can take and say, okay, yeah, we're all dealing with this, but what kind of things I can do to help me? So I'm going to start with Jacqueline and go up.
Okay, so that's a really important question. And one of the things I think about is mediation. And when you have, when you point a finger at somebody else, go, you or that, and you get emotional about whatever, like, that's not okay, or this is, you're pointing 3 fingers back at yourself. And so in society, as everything is changing, every cell in our body is always changing. All the molecules, everything is, the only thing constant is change. And so I would say, to be mindful, when you find yourself resisting, like when I mentioned the stem cell chickens, I don't want that. When take a minute and give yourself, go into neutral, go into love, and embrace from their side of view, from their perspective. Why does somebody else like that? Why does somebody else want that other thing? How could it be valuable for them? And when you start to get into the wisdom of looking at other people's perspective, instead of pointing the finger and say, that's wrong, because I could go, no, this is red. I'm looking at red and you're wrong. And you're going, no, this is this is purple. And then when I go around and see it from that side, I go, oh, you're right. You were seeing purple, but that's not what I was seeing. Can you look over at my side? And when you start to find that, not even compromise, but that perspective, and start to look at it, then you can take it back to yourself and start to make a clearer decision, be a little bit more compassionate, understanding, and embrace whatever that is, to then, instead of being completely right or completely left, you start to move toward the center where there's more potential harmony instead of dissonance. So I would say, do what you can to look at the other perspective, like what I was doing with the chicken. I did a little bit of research going, how could that possibly be good for people? And then I'm starting to see where, the jury's still out for me, but I'm a little bit less like resistance to that. And I'm glad that I can still choose, because of the country that I'm in is based on freedoms. But so looking from the other side and having a mediator hat to see, maybe from their perspective, they think they're right, they believe they're right. Let me step into their shoes for a moment and see their perspective.
I like that. Learning is growing, right? Jacqueline, let them know how they can contact you, lady.
People can contact me on the screen, intuitionpower.com, and that's the easiest way, intuitionpower.com. There'll be a lot of links, and to contact me direct, coach@intuitionpower.com, coach@intuitionpower.com. Thanks, Barbara.
Awesome.
Queen Barbara.
Oh, Queen Jacqueline. Our next queen.
Yeah, I love this question. Thank you for it. So tips, just one. You know what? What I think about when I think about adapting to change and innovation, I've had a lot of experience, both warranted and then some has, quite frankly, caught me off guard. Some change has, but the common thing that I have taken away from each time that I've gone through a transition, if you will, is self-awareness. Becoming aware of how I'm feeling, becoming aware and differentiating between the facts of the situation, and then trying to really level set and understand, where do I want to go, or where do I want this to end? And always our hope is that it ends well. And wellness is different for everybody. And so the tip that I would give is really lean into those feelings that come up. I will tell you, I will be honest, I'm learning to do this in present time. Lean into the feelings that come up. Don't resist the negative ones, and those that kind of make us anxious or uncomfortable, become curious about that. What I'm learning is that feelings, of course, they aren't facts, but feelings are informants. And when we have things around us, if we sit still and in silence long enough, they will inform us. They will inform our soul as far as what to do next and where to go next. They will lead us. And so instead of resisting our friends, right, nourish them, become curious with them, ask them questions, and then be willing to go on the journey that they take you on. So don't ever, 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 and again, admittedly, I'm learning this in real time, don't ever resist our feelings, and don't shun them away or suppress them, but embrace them. And that is really the tip that has helped me. That's the common thread that has helped me in every transition of life that I've gone through.
I love it, love it. And how can they contact you, Queen?
Yeah, great question. So I am primarily on LinkedIn, Ronnie Cyrus Jackson. I'm also on Facebook, though not as much. And then if you email me, I am at ronnie.c.jackson@hotmail.com. I'm also on Instagram. So what I like to say is, if you put Ronnie Cyrus Jackson in a Google search, I'm the only Ronnie Cyrus Jackson in the world.
That's the uniqueness. I love it. Thank you, Queen.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Queen Gloria.
All right. I love this question. So, what I would say my biggest tip is to reflect on the past and look at instances in your past where you did deal with change and recognize that you survived it because you're here now. And maybe see if there's something uh, if you think back onto even if it's something totally different, you could still maybe see if there's some lessons in that, how you handled change in the past. And the other thing is, if it's totally different and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, then my recommendation is to seek some guidance from your higher power. Spend some time in prayer or meditation, whatever works for you, or journal, and see what comes up for you from your higher self. Has wonderful wisdom if you just take the moment to tap into it, as Barbara was talking about, that she has her clients writing. So yeah, spend some time doing that and see what comes up for you, and know that this too shall pass, and you will get through this one way or another. And just be open to that, and if you also need help from someone else, call a coach, call a friend, call a family member. Know that you don't have to go through life alone. You don't have to face this change alone.
Yes. I was pointing at everybody when you said about the coach thing. And you.
All right. And so you can find me online. You can go, if you want to actually have a phone or have a conversation with me, you can go to engagewithgloria.com, and that takes you right to my calendar, and you can set up an appointment. You can also, if you Google Gloria Grace Rand, I'm the only one that uses Grace. There's other Gloria Rands out there, including William Shatner's ex-wife, but I'm the only Gloria Grace, and that was my mom gave me that middle name, and I'm so appreciative of it. So you can find me on social media and my website, etc.
Thank you so much, Queen Gloria. And I love how you said to reach out to others. And I'm glad you said that, so people will remember to keep taking these, how to get to people, how to contact them. So we will go to our next queen, Queen Barbara.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're going to be faced with, whatever it is, that change, we're going to be faced with it. So you have one of two choices, really. You can decide that you're going to embrace it, or you're going to fight it. Well, I think it's much easier to make the decision to, I'm just going to do it. So once you've made that decision, then follow through on the decision by making a plan. And the plan can be just a couple of things. Okay, well, I'm going to learn this, or I'm going to reach out to this person, or whatever it is. That plan, it can be one or two things. But then start your plan and start with baby steps. Don't try to do the whole thing at once. Start with baby steps.
Yes.
So, absolutely.
And how can they contact you, Miss Queen?
I have a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/wellness playroom.
Okay. Thank you, Queen. And we will give our next queen here, Miss Queen Karen.
Well, I do. I love this question as well, because the more information we have, the more power we have, and the better choices we can make. It is a matter of researching. If something is going on that's like AI, for example, I was dead set against it. And then I thought, wait a minute, maybe it could be helpful. But the fear that had come to me through, AI is taking over and whatnot, not necessarily. We got the power of choice. So use it. What are the other possibilities? That is my suggestion. Always ask yourself, what are the other possibilities? And I'll give you a really surprising tip, is that there are always at least 3 possibilities. Some of them are not so good, but always at least 3 possibilities. And so when I started looking at AI as kind of like a coach to help me brainstorm things when somebody isn't around, to help me brainstorm, oh, yeah, this isn't quite right, but I can change that. That's cool. That is so cool. Look at the possibilities are endless. This is wonderful. So, what are the other possibilities? And another tip is I wake up every morning setting an intention, and I'll share my intention with you, and you can take it or not. My intention is to feel abundant, to feel happy and good, and to feel accomplished. And that sets the day out right and can help you deal with the challenges that come at you throughout the day because you've already set your intention. And I would love to have a chat with anybody who would be interested in learning more about creating that awesome life and having those good intentions and navigating change. And of course, all of these marvelous coaches. Thank God for them. Everybody, thank God for them, because we cannot do it by ourselves. With the 8 billion people in the world, no, one person can't do it. So each person is a wonderful coach here. And I really encourage you to do that. You can reach out to me at karensteltz.com/let's talk. That takes you directly to my calendar if that's what you'd like to do. Absolutely no pressure, no sales, just find out what you want. Or come listen to the awesomelifepodcast.com and listen to some of these amazing ladies that I've had as guests.
Thank you so much, Queen. And Miss Queen Felicia, give a quick tip and how they can contact you.
Okay, I really love the question. I have several little bitty tips, and the first one is to take responsibility for change and innovation because it will affect you. So at some point, you're going to have to face it and own it. And the second tip is to cultivate a growth mindset that embraces innovation and change. Because if you do not, and you're not growing, that means you're staying stagnant, and nobody wants to stay stagnant. You want to always continually be growing and adapting, because there's some things that happen that you cannot change. So you must adapt to whatever that is. As an adult, you have the responsibility to adapt or not to adapt and to embrace change. The next little small tip is think about the positive as well as the negative of the change that you're going to make. Nobody can determine that for you but you. You can't look at things one-sided. You always have to look at the whole picture. And the whole picture is going to have a positive and a negative. Once you look at that, then you can make a decision on how you choose to react in a situation. You know, it's always about how can I benefit from this change? Or how can I benefit from adapting and moving from one thing to another? But just know that when you make that change, others are going to benefit from whatever you change and decide to do, which is great. Stay resilient in all situations because you just have to. There's no other alternative for me but to be resilient, and for you too. And just stay open to learn, because there's always going to be something new. And if you don't learn about it, then you won't know whether or not you want to change with it, or if you're just going to go quickly, or if you're going to kind of slow and kind of mosey and wait till something has been out for a year before you decide to say, oh, okay, I'll do that. It's been out enough and it's been proven and I see it working for everybody else. Now I'll get on the bandwagon. All of these things, when you think about it, you have to seriously consider it before making a decision. But you do have to make a decision. As long as you are alive, you have to make a decision to change or not to change in every situation.
Okay.
And that's all my little small tips.
Okay, Queen. And how can they contact you?
Okay, there's several ways you can contact me. You can contact me through my nonprofit organization called Women Empowering Women. The website is WEIMPACTWOMEN.org. The next way you can contact me is through Empowering Writings, and that's EMPOWERINGWRITINGS.com. And for those who like to contact through email, my email is opportunity Knox with an S on the end. I'm sorry, opportunity Knox 089 at gmail.com. If you look for me, I'm on Amazon, but I'm on Amazon as Felicia, FELICHA, middle name SINEGAR, last name Stanley, STANLEY. And I am on all social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Okay. Thank you, Queen, so much. And last, Mrs. America Supermom, tip for the night.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Barbara. And I've enjoyed everyone's shares. You know, my tip simply, we've had a lot of great information, and it would be just to know yourself so that you can be open to new opportunities. I would never have imagined that I would be a TV producer just from overcoming my own journey of depression. But when you know yourself and you know what your passion is, it really gives you that confidence to do things you never would imagine yourself doing. So I would say know yourself, be open, and that would be it. That's my tip. And you could find me on LinkedIn, Lachelle Atkins. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody. And I just want to thank everybody being on the show. Thank you for the time. Thank you for sharing your tips. And remember, adapting to change, either way it goes in innovation, always be yourself. With that said, we will see you next month, first Thursday, on that Thursday of the month. See you next month. Bye.
Bye.
Introducing the Diamond Factor Network, where we turn your business into a beacon of success. Imagine having your TV streaming show reaching audiences far and wide. It's possible with the Diamond Factor Network. Unlock the power of your brand with our state-of-the-art TV streaming platform. Your show, your way. Feature highlights, customized shows, global reach, and professional support. Coaching by Barbara J. Beckley, Purpose Visibility, and social media strategist. Ready to elevate your brand? Join the Diamond Factor Network today and let your brilliance light up the world. Shine